Grand Rising, my friends. Hey there. Missed you always. To the most beautiful subscribers and several hundred planes of existence and reality that's barely been cataloged by the mystics and academics across the multiverse. But if you're new, hey, jump on in, join, see what's up. Come on, we you know, the water's fine. Swim in the ocean of awesomeness. We down like that. The market is a bit down itself. It was popping a little bit earlier, then dropped down from 43,000 now down to 40,811 for Bitcoin. And when I say the market and talk about Bitcoin, please, I was just thinking about this earlier. Any other project we may be in may ebb and flow. But if Bitcoin pops up or drops down dramatically, it will pull everything else around it. So be respectful for the big dog. Ethereum just hovering right at $1.24. Binance coins dropped a lot over the past week. $437.38. Cardano $1.26. Popped over Solana. Solana $125.69. Terra $79.22. XRP at 72, almost 73. When you do the roundup, Polkadot $23. Doge 15 cents. Wow. Shiba down to 4 zeros and 26.54. Avalanche and Polygon are down. Everything's down. The market's down. Futures for tomorrow and stock are down. So, you know, and that's part of it. When you can see this, you can get sad, thinking things are going wrong or like things are for sale. So it's Christmas time and you shouldn't be over leveraged in any position. So you should have extra money now to say, you know what? I could buy some things that I always wanted that's a little bit on sale now. So, but stock prices the futures are looking down for tomorrow. But we will see. We'll keep an eye. Ethereum. That can't be right. I was like 14. No. What is this? Yeah, this doesn't even make sense. Something's wrong with that. Let me refresh the screen. That's not even a number. Yeah, billions are right here, and this has gone way up here. All right, so a lot of Ethereum is burned. Something's wrong with their user interface right now. Here on this channel, if you're new here or if you've been here for a while and tend to forget, which I doubt you do, you know about that positivity. And being positive is thinking about someone in your life who has made an impact, who has taught you to be a better individual, who how to flow easier through your existence. It's a way to kind of not help them, but acknowledge them electronically by writing something in the comment section nice about them and then forward them this video and saying, look what I wrote about you, you know, and we all play it forward. I guess that's my way of saying, please like and subscribe and such and go on. With that, scientists have discovered a new class of drugs that could actually prevent depression. So I have not looked at not raw data, but even some of the clinical articles about this. Besides, this is more, I would say, a pop culture article. But one thing I was thinking about as reading this, and we'll go through in my thought, we'll get to in a second. If you or a loved one suffer from depression, anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorder, then you know mental illness isn't cured by motivational phrases or by well-meaning friends suggesting to be thankful for what you have. Prescription antidepressants save lives, and there's no shame in taking medications to ease your symptoms. Amen, 100%. But they said a new class of drugs now in development may help prevent depression from developing in the first place. And I argue a little bit with that, and I'll tell you why in a second. But basically, they call them alexigents, And they discovered them when they were working with a medication that they thought would be an antidepressant medication, but they think it could inoculate individuals against probably the further negative effects of trauma. But they say negative effects of trauma and reduce the amount of depression in society. So in 2014, they gave mice a what they thought was a rapid acting antidepressant, but it didn't work like the way they thought. But then they saw when they moved to other experiments with those mice didn't develop depression in the model that they would assume they would, stress models that they assume they would. So then they said, well, maybe this, and then you got to argue, is trauma the same as depression? And so I've always thought about this in animal models and human models. You got to be very careful. So what my argument is, so anyway, they feel like, oh, maybe this medication, this Alexigent, helps protect you. And resiliency is the best thing in terms of mental health, physical health, anything, is building up resiliency to understand there's going to be slings and arrows, ups and downs, but learn to ride the waves and the crest. And there's times when you need help, get help. But as much as possible, better yourself, getting yourself on a schedule, eating well, sleeping the appropriate amount, exercise, all these things help as well. So, but anyway, so this talked about how much trauma and stress there is, especially in high stress positions and jobs, and that these medications are not antidepressants. These preventive psychopharmaceuticals are not antidepressants. They're a whole new class of drug, and they work by increasing stress resilience. So let's call them resilience enhancers. And, hey, I tell you, resilience is one of the best things in the world. So what I argue with in terms of that is that for the most part, or I don't know. So like I said, I didn't look at the clinical articles. Did they take into account previous trauma? Because the vast majority of individuals have, as some form, childhood trauma, which then increase the likelihood of developing these illnesses later in life, be it post-traumatic stress, be it anxiety disorders or depressive disorders. So you wonder if it didn't just treat something that from the past, and not also help the resiliency of something that's there, but hey, that would be awesome to have as a tool in the arsenal to treat patients or individuals. Would be something that, somebody you identify as being acutely sensitive to the problem. Imagine that, thinking about my other thought was that the military must have swooped in immediately to see how effective this was. And, going forward as soldiers, if they can reduce the rates of PTSD, from a strategic standpoint, not even from a humanitarian standpoint, which you wish they would be their first thought, but just from a strategic standpoint and a greed standpoint, they could reduce the cost of payment into mental health in individuals post their service. Please. Harvard MIT physicists built the most powerful quantum computer ever. So, we talk about a lot of different things here on this channel. So some people may come for one thing, but hey, you may come for the drinks, but hey, you may find that you like the steak and the potatoes, or the monk fruit. That's what my homeboy, I'm shouting them out for the not burgers and the and everything, whatever it may be. That we got something to just go feed that soul of yours. A team of physicists from the Harvard MIT Center for Ultra Cold Atoms and other universities have developed a special type of quantum computer known as a programmable quantum simulator capable of operating with 25 quantum bits or qubits. So they built one before, I think it was like 50 some qubits, and now they built a more scaled up version. And they talk about a lot of how, in this article of how they were able to do it. Here, unprecedented size. It is the combination of the system's unprecedented size and programmability that puts it at the cutting edge of the race for a quantum computer. Already, the simulator has allowed researchers to observe several exotic quantum states of matter that have never before been realized experimentally, and to perform a quantum phase transition study so precise that it serves as a textbook example of how magnetism works at the quantum level. So it talked about, in 2017, had a capable of reaching the size of 51 qubits. Older system allowed the researchers to capture ultra-cold rubidium atoms and arrange them in a specific order using one-dimensional array of individually focused laser beams called optical tweezers. So they have all these super cold atoms, and then they're able to use the lasers to come in there and move the atoms. Because when you freeze, for those who don't know, some physics lesson, a physics lesson, an atom moves, like it vibrates, and that vibrates causes heat and friction, so which gives heat. Now, if you reduce the heat in the system, it slows down the vibration of a atom, and if you even slow it down enough, you can slow enough you can freeze it in place. But you can get it slow enough to be, for all intents and purposes, not moving, but still, not completely frozen, quote unquote. So that's what they're doing, and they use the tweezers. Researchers can arrange the atoms in defect-free patterns and create programmable shapes like squares, honeycombs, or triangular butcher this word. Hold on, I'm not gonna butcher it. Lattices to engineer different interactions between the qubits. So they're able to use these. The workhorse of this new platform is a device called the Spatial Light Modulator, which is used to shape an optical wavefront. Okay, optical wavefront, shape it to produce hundreds of individually focused optical tweezer beams. So shape an optical wavefront to be able to focus hundreds of different beams. Okay, so then, so your beams are coming in certain ways to move things. You can able to shape this wavefront in front of it to produce hundreds, and then move. These devices are essentially the same as, I bet you they use some artificial intelligence to help move this around, though. I would not be surprised. The initial load, okay. So, I don't know if we're going to get to a quantum computer sooner rather than later, but I would not bet against in the next 20 years having. Now, look, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I may have coming up in a story in a couple of days that Google spun off or has started a new company for their quantum computing wing. Now, they've had a company, but it was not a, dealing with the public company. It was a company on books for research and, bringing in, hiring people and doing this. But now they are in the business product aspect of it, if I'm not mistaken. But we'll get into that in a couple of days. Moving on, Samsung reveals virtual store 837X in Decentraland metaverse with NFT badges and a theater, however you like to say. Tomato. After the electronics giant Samsung disclosed the firm's upcoming 2022 smart TVs would boast NFT support, that their televisions this year, Samsung will have NFT support. Okay. The company has revealed it has opened a virtual store inside the Decentraland metaverse. So Samsung has a store now. You can buy things in it. We're going to talk about the whole Walmart and their virtual store. You're going to be on there buying deodorant for your avatar to keep your house. So if I come to your crib, they be like, oh, you ain't got no toothbrush? You ain't got no toothbrush in your crib? What you... Get ready for the metaverse. So in this, you can do things to earn badges, of course. They have a theater will showcase Samsung news, and the stage will feature a metaverse mixed reality live dance party hosted by the DJ Gamma Vibe. So they got it popping. Name of the store is 837X. Is modeled on a real life store 837. Does it say we're in New York City? So it's modeled on this store in New York City, and it's there everybody's jumping in deep into the pool. NFT kingpin OpenSea lands monster $13.3 billion valuation in new raise. So in other words, they raised more capital, and the amount of capital they raised versus the shares the private investors got. This is for accredited investors, people with way more money than the vast majority of people you come across in your daily life. They said, well, okay, so you raised 300 million at that, and you gave them that amount of percentage of your company. So the company is theoretically worth $13.3 billion at this point. The raise valued the startup at a massive $13.3 billion valuation, showcasing a wild growth, saying that, and I don't know, maybe something that's put today, it is that they made like more in the first 15 days of January than in their best month last year. I think like more than a 3.5. At this point, maybe not the first 15 days of January, but at this point, with still some more of the month to go. So OpenSea has been booming, took a shot across the bow from looks rare, but OpenSea, so they are looking like they want to go more traditional coin-based stock market route as opposed to releasing their own token in that. So looks rare said, hey, we'll release a token to the people who use it. OpenSea is firmly in the sights of a dozen other crypto marketplaces as few competitors, though that has made change as Coinbase eyes the opportunity and other NFT marketplaces launch and receive funding. So, but OpenSea, that's big money. Not gonna keep you long. With that said, I love you. You love you. God loves us, and that's all that matters.